Story number one. Let me get myself ready. The mysterious Donald Trump. That's the story number one. A lot of headlines about this president. He had the 4th of July celebration. I came across the book. I had some time to stop at the bookstore to do some research. I just had to figure out why everybody, the president's approval rating is below, I think they said it was below 50%. So I had to see what it was and why everybody is so anti-Trump. So I crept into a bookstore this week. I have my own bookstore, but it's mainly online. But I crept into there and I picked up a book. It was called Proof of Collusion: How Trump Betrayed America. It was by Seth Abramson. And a very, very interesting book. I got a chance to read a pretty good, not the whole book, but I got majority. It was basically talking about the president's dealings with Russia. I mean, I don't, like I said, I have to fact check, but it was going into details about how he was infatuated with building some buildings in Russia, and it was just. It was trying to connect the dots. We just had the Mueller report, and we've had all these things going on, but it just shows you how mysterious the president is dealing with. Like I said, I didn't vote. I couldn't vote in this last election when it came to the president. So I didn't get to vote for him or Hillary because I had to move, and they wouldn't let me change my precinct. So I had to skip out on this election. But seeing all the divisiveness and all the rhetoric that's going on, even with the 4th of July parade, I mean, even the things that happened this week, and it had me thinking like maybe I might want to do some more research and see why everybody's so anti-Trump and why people are pro-Trump. And what I'm finding out is there's like three sides of America right now. There are people who are fighting for something, and there are people who are just sitting on the sideline. There are people who just are radical left, and there's a big discussion going on because President Trump he's basically stirring the pot. He's adding a different atmosphere to Washington. Many are complaining that he's violated the Hatch Act so much, and he's using all these executive orders, and then they're upset about his border dealings. But the thing is that this is a mysterious guy, and whatever game plan he has. If you read and you look at his past dealings, especially with the book The Art of the Deal, you will see that it's a very scary game plan. I say that we would have either way, no matter who would have been in office right now, I don't know how things would have turned out. But the president but he seems to have. His side, they defend this guy. I mean, the guy cannot do anything wrong. So the thing is that we don't know how this is going to end up. We don't know how America is going to be viewed years from now by even its allies. But the thing is that Russia and China, they're moving the piece. They're moving around the table. Russia, I think, looking at from reading about Trump's dealings, I think Vladimir Putin. I mean, you got to think like these guys have levels of government, just like the United States have security clearance. Russia has security clearance. From what I'm hearing, if this book is correct, they're talking about how Trump had met with top level officials from Russia and how. Some of his some of the people who he was doing business with, and they were just basically saying how there's even something in the book talking about how his daughter was so I think she sat in one of Putin's chairs. I don't know how true this book is. I'm going to fact check it as much as I can. But there are multiple books, multiple sources connecting Trump with a bunch of Russia dealings. But when it comes to this, politicians and the way the United States is geared right now, nothing seems to amaze me what I read. I mean, there's even stories about the Obama administration, his dealings with Jeremiah Wright. So we vote these people in office. And we end up finding out years later that their motives were probably not towards the better interests of the American people. But the question is that when we see all this stuff going on, you see the guy, he goes over to other countries like France, and he sees them putting on parades, and he comes to a country that is basically built off capital, and he has a parade that probably costs tons tons of money. It's probably going to cripple the parking system because he took that money out of the budget for that. So, like I said, this is a mysterious president. Mysterious president. He's lost a lot of people in his cabinet. Very, very scary. We've seen Sarah Sanders go, and it's very scary. Very scary. There's some headlines that surfaces. They're even talking about how many lies that have come off the president's lips. I really don't know what to say about this administration. I think that he's addressed a lot of issues that need to be addressed, and he's brought things to light. But these are things that past administrations would not bring to light. But when it comes to his personal dealings and his business ties, we may not. When it comes to 2020, we may be. I don't know how. I said it'd be amazing to see how he pulls this one off, because I don't see any strong candidates in the Democratic aisles right now. So Trump may be. I don't know how this is going to turn out, folks. I'm reading article after article. There's always new revelations every day. They're on this president like white on rice, and it's not going to let up. There was some other stories that surfaced. They was talking about how there's just evidence that there's even with there was a Russian sub that caught fire, and they're speculating that it was possibly going to cut some internet cable somewhere. So whatever the big everybody in the global power structure is plotting on, they need resources for their people, so they're making moves. And even when you talk about the election and getting involved and interfering with people's elections, computer wise, this is some fishy stuff, and we have to ask ourselves: did they tamper with the elections? With their show that there is proof of that, but is this the reason why they wanted Trump elected? Who knows? Like I said, I don't know. I'm just reading sources and multiple sources. I haven't got my hands on the Mueller report yet, but being in the middle and trying to find out what is better for the people to know, and finding the top 8 stories that can keep people informed, I think there's some fishy stuff going on in Washington, D.C. Very scary. It's amazing how this guy can, like I said, this administration can do no wrong. Nobody seems to be aware of the facts. Nobody seems to be reading the fine details. Nobody seems to want to. It's like some people are in denial. It's very scary. It's just like that's why this story number 1, the mysterious Donald Trump, will stay alive. There's some mysterious stuff going on in Washington right now, and even with the 4th of July parades. The Democrats wanting to sue to get Trump's tax returns, the fact that the Mueller report turned out that there was no collusion, but all of these, there's multiple speculations, multiple sources saying that something happened with this administration in Russia, something happened with something in Washington. This is not just in Trump administration, this is in the past administration. Folks, there's some serious stuff going on in Washington, and story number 1, as we get closer and closer to 2020, many are talking about impeachment. I don't think they have enough time for that. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I think 2020, I would hate to see the Republicans or just any independent, because of the fact that you go to the inner cities, you go to where Democrats are governing, and you see the crime rates, you see the effect that it's had on the minority community. I don't know, as a voter and as a veteran, I don't know who to trust right now. I really don't. I really don't. And I'm just probably going to be just as lost as everybody else come election day, come 2020, because I've just kind of lost a lot of confidence. I'm reading stories every week, and I haven't seen anything that's possible. What they say that's probably doing, and that's story number 1. Story number 1: the mysterious Donald Trump and the mysterious Washington, D.C., and what is going on in Washington. Very scary stuff. That's why I really recommend, if you're out there, you're listening, that is, if there's a time to be informed and to know where your tax dollars are going, now may be the time. You're the Mediator, me, Brian West, where it's my supreme duty every week to give you a top 8 headlines, developing news stories that made it, so you will be informed. Like I said, I rub my belly when I'm getting done eating, and I'm expecting you did the same this 4th of July. So I still had to do my duties. I still had to go through story after story. I even took the time to read a few books to see. I'm reading this book about Richard Nixon, trying to see, get a better eye on the dealings in Washington for you, the audience. So if you want to help out, all you have to do is visit www.method8inc.com, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. A lot of stuff going on in America right now. A lot of stuff going on in the world, and what better time to get informed and get some clarity, some vision, some understanding of what's happening around you by going out and just getting informed, starting to develop a habit of listening to the news. So if you want to contribute, all you have to do is visit www.method8inc.com. You can buy something, click on something, watch something. If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.